I think we're on now. Just waiting for it to show up.
I have live and things spinning, so I'm assuming it's getting closer.
Yep, me too.
Doesn't my voice sound great? Uh,
My sound is okay, isn't it? When I tested it,
yeah,
it cut out at the beginning. But
yeah, no, I am sick, and it
yeah,
probably is really coming through in my voice.
you're a little scratchy. I can see myself here, so I'm assuming we're
Hey,
good.
doesn't my voice sound?
Yeah, and I've got sound, so we're on.
All
So
right.
go ahead and
You want to
intro.
start or you want me to start?
Go ahead.
All right. And welcome to another Franchise Hockey Manager. Adam, I am the community manager of Franchise Hockey. With me, as always, and pictured on your screen is FHM producer Jeff.
Hey,
Say hi,
everybody.
Jeff. Back with our 2016-2017 Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, and we are finished the exhibition season now, so just about ready to get started into the first game of the season, which is a home opener against Ottawa on, we're not quite there yet. It's on the 12th. We're on the 9th now, so I'm just going to advance a little bit, and we were going to take a look at the waiver wire. That's one of the things we were going to do before the start of the season, just to see if anybody interesting pops up.
Yes. Okay. Actually, this comes up right now just because I'm seeing what you're wearing. Mid-90s Vancouver Canucks jersey. Is that correct?
Yep, I even matched the Lyndon McLean picture on the wall behind me.
Excellent. Excellent. Somebody on our YouTube had asked the question and said, non-game question. This is from Chuck. Seeing you as a Vancouver fan, I presume, what are your feelings about the uniforms right now? He thinks they're horrible and have no idea why he changed from the black ones.
Well, I mean, I like the old Star Wars one, so my taste is probably not a good indicator there. But no, I'm not. I'm not. The stick and puck ones are pretty good. I don't. The green and blue coloring is okay, but I mean, I grew up with the old school skate logo, the one I'm wearing now. So
Yeah.
I kind of prefer that a little bit, I think. But I don't think I'm definitely in the majority there. Okay, and speaking of the Canucks, looks like they just made a deal. And they move Alex Burrows to the Kings for Tom Gilbert.
Interesting trade.
Yeah.
My feelings, I posted again on YouTube. I said, I like their third logo better than the Orca myself, that hockey stick.
Yeah, oh
And
yeah, definitely. The Orca is the worst possible
yeah, I like their jerseys from around the
version.
2010 season. Kind of really like them. I said, but if you go older, I like the classic black V's. And I said, personally, as long as they stay away from the 95 through 97 alternate jerseys, which are like
The
the
red
red
one, I like
and
those. I
yellow.
kind of like those. It was sort of like the red with the bright red with the gradient
Yeah,
into the yellow.
stay far, far away from those. And from the 89 yellows, those were not very nice.
Oh, right,
If
with
you
the skate,
remember.
the yellows with the skate logo. I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're not pretty jerseys.
Okay, so we are at the waiver wire here at the start of the regular season. Everybody is sending players down, and we can pick over this list to see if there's anything interesting here. Seeing a few defensemen: Brandon Davidson, Tyler Wotherspoon, John Racine, Taylor Fadoon. Nobody really jumping out at me. The best player is available is Davidson. He's got 3 stars currently. So what's our D looking like at the moment? Yeah, that would actually be wind up on our second pair probably. Second pair at worst. So I'm wondering if maybe we should put in a claim on Davidson. And just gonna have a look if there's any high potential guys. No, not really.
Not too
Yeah,
unsurprising.
I also see Ty Ratty on there, which he's only 1.5 stars though, so I don't think that's worth disrupting our lineup for. Frank Corrado, who we traded back to the Canucks, is now on waivers again from them, so they'll probably lose him for the second time.
Cardero?
Corrado, yeah.
Okay.
And okay, I'm going to put in a claim on Brandon Davidson. I do see Stefan Matoan down there, who always seems to wind up with us in our games. So let's see, we got any? What's our left wing looking like? Four guys. Oh, we got, well, it's Matt Martin and Milan Mikulek. Yeah, Mato wouldn't be a bad pickup. What do you think? Should I grab him? Try to
Yeah,
at least?
I don't think so. I don't think that'd be a bad grab. Ratcast in the chat. Do you like movies about gladiators? Yes. In fact, Gladiator, with starring Russell Crowe, is one of my favorite movies. And if you have never done this, you shouldn't do it now. Mind you, after the stream, Google what they're planning for Gladiator 2. Because if you've never read that, you really should. Because if you
I
like
think I've seen
Gladiator,
that. Yeah.
it's like the most insane thing
The
anyone
crazy,
has ever read.
time traveling thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, that.
Like, it just makes no sense, but it sounds so amazing. You wish that they would have done that.
Okay, and we wound up getting both Davidson and Mato. So now we've got to move some guys down. Mato's only 2-star potential. I may wind up regretting that. I think I'm going to send... Do I keep him up and send Peter Holland down? Or do I send him straight to the minors? Cheap salary-wise. I'm going to see if I can get away with sending him to the Marlies, and hopefully he doesn't get claimed right back. And Brandon Davidson is definitely going to stay with us, though. Who should go down? Either Zaitsev, Hunwick, or Connor Carrick, but Carrick is a righty and the other two are on the left. I think I'm going to try sending Hunwick down. Yeah, Zaitsev's got a little bit more upside. So Hunwick down. Just going to see what our assistant would set up the lineup. No, I don't really want to.
Okay, Ratcast says, apparently that was from Airplane, so that flew right over my... Ho-ho.
Oh, see, I actually thought you got that. And,
No.
Okay.
No, that one flew right over my head.
Okay.
I'm sorry. But he says, last week you got Truba from the Jets, who actually finally did sign with the Jets.
Yeah, we kind of overpaid for him, I guess. He signed for, what, 3.5 in real life?
Yeah.
And 2 years. We got him for 5 and 70.
He says, what happens if you can't come to What happens if you can't come to contract term?
We got him already.
Yes, he's already signed. But is it possible for him not to sign with us?
Yeah, we just got the rights, so we still have to we still have to negotiate a contract for him. So if he had not signed with us, he would have been our restricted free agent, and we would have been in pretty much the same situation the Jets were in. But let's see, one more day here. I'm going to advance that, and before we do that, I will set up the strategy for the season. So I think we picked strategy out last time, but we didn't get into the tactical roles, so I'll do that a little bit more now. And fortunately enough, Leo Komarov just got healthy in time for the starter. But wow, Frederick Anderson, we got really unlucky with his injury. Normally there's a little bit of variability to the starting injuries because he had that real injury at the start of the year, but in this case he's going to be out for at least another month or so. So we're going to be starting with Enroth in goal, so I'm not expecting a fantastic start for the Leafs unless Matthews really lights it up. But on to strategy. And I think I will do this the hard way and go through and go through and manually select literally every line and roll. So first line center, I'm going to want Matthews there. Probably want a veteran with him, so Van Riemsdyk. Not even sure who he's actually playing with in real life right now.
Who's that? Sorry.
Matthews on the Leafs. Who have they got him in line with?
Isn't he on with Marner? Toronto.
Might be, yeah.
Maple Leafs. I don't know.
And yeah, I think I'm actually going to use Marner on as my second line right wing.
Okay, right now it's Hyman and Nylander with him.
Yeah, I'm
as
gonna.
of today.
Yeah, I'll be. Oh, Hyman's playing with him. That's a bit of a surprise. Hmm.
Yeah, second line is JVR, Bozak, Marner. Third line is Komarov, Kadri, Brown.
Komarov on the third line, huh? But
Yes,
yep,
but playing
Brown will go
first line
there.
power play with them.
Live on the fourth line. Mikulek on the third line and Matt Martin on the fourth, and I'm missing a couple of centers here. Hyman, I think, will go on the fourth line as a center. And who's Kadri? Okay, so I've got all the lines set up. Now I've got to go in and select the individual roles. I've already got the tactics selected, which is the flexible triangle one. So moderately offensive and kind of passing oriented. So I will fit up Van Riemsdyk first. I click on the role and it'll tell me what I can select here, in the little dots up in the top right hand corner give me an indication of how good the player is at the role. The primary roles, the best fits for that tactic, are outlined in green, and the secondary ones, which which are also acceptable and can be selected but not quite as effective as part of the overall tactic, are outlined in red, and then the dots indicate how good the player is at each of these roles. So I think we're going to let Van Riemsdyk shoot from the outside. Matthews, actually no, scratch that. I'm going to use Van Riemsdyk as the playmaker. Matthews as the guy who's going to do most of the shooting. And Komarov also playmaker. So that gives me the offensive roles that fit for that tactic. Now I also have to take the set up the defensive roles, which are determined by the defensive tactic I've chosen, which in this case it's neutral zone traps. So these are still going to be somewhat offensive oriented because it's the first line, because you don't want those guys focusing entirely on defense. Van Riemsdyk gets two-way forward. We'll leave Matthews in a little more offense-oriented role, and we'll also have Komarov coming back. So there's our first line. I'm going to do the second one now. Definitely want Nylander as a playmaker. Bozak. Oh, he's been a little bit better as a back checker. He's got 4 marks here as opposed to 3 on the other stuff. So we'll have Bozak being a little bit more defensively responsible on the second line, and Mitch Marner will, we're going to go with Dangler for him. He's going to sit up, not come back too far into the zone, and mainly focus on trying to get goals on the, trying to get into position for the breakout.
I like that.
Defensively, let's see, Nylander is about equal at pretty much all of this. Just make him a two-way forward. Bozak. Okay, I'm going to make him a shadow, and then I'm going to do something with this line in a second, just to take particular advantage of that. And Marner, he's not a great fit for any of this stuff. Going to make him a two-way forward. It's going to be a secondary role, so it's going to take a little bit of effectiveness out of the tactic, but he's better at that than any of the other possible roles. Third line, Colic. More of an offensive guy, so let him. Yeah, nothing else really jumping out. Let him be the playmaker. Kadri, have him going in and forechecking. And Brown gets two-way forward. Oh, Puog66 asking about the disaster plan for the NHL in chat. If the God forbid there's a plane crash or something like that, I think the way it actually works in real life is they've got a contingency plan. I'm just going to keep doing this as we're talking. And the team will be, if they lost their whole roster, it would be redrafted from the other teams in the league. But we don't have that in the game because that's kind of morbid.
Yeah, whew. I mean, I know it happened for Locomotive, right? It
Yeah,
lives in the
KHL.
UK. It's I can't even fathom what will go through, and I think that would be kind of the last thing on people's mind. I would imagine they'd probably fold the team for the year, and then redo something. But
Yeah, I mean, I can't. That would be really weird for. It's kind of like WWE keeping going after Owen Hart died in the middle of an event. I
yeah,
don't think
it's
they'd get some. Whoops! Don't do that. They'd get a lot of backlash if they actually tried to restart the team immediately. I don't think that'd be too popular with the fans of the team that it happened to.
yeah. I don't know. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, hopefully we never
Just
find out.
yes. So
Okay.
we're getting really full dive. So what are our tactics we're doing here? I remember we set up kind of to be a fairly
Yep.
trap heavy team, right?
Yep. Flexible triangle on offense and neutral zone trap on defense. And I've just finished with the forwards. And so next thing up is to set up the D. Truba. Do we put Truba on the top pair?
Uh,
It's him or Riley.
I'd put Riley. I'd put Truba on second pair for now.
Put him in the second one. Ease him in a little bit, I guess. And Polak, I guess, will go in the third spot. Whoops, missed him. And Gardner gets the top spot. Davidson, who we just picked up, can go on the second pair with Truba. So two guys who don't know the system at all, and Marincin.
Sounds like the perfect pair.
Yeah. And I think I will adjust the time slightly, so because we haven't got a great third pair, I'll take a couple of minutes off of that and bump them onto the second unit. And forwards, take maybe a minute off the second and a minute off the fourth, and put that into the third line, because the third line is a little better than. Yeah, there's a bit of a gap between third and fourth. And shootout spots, quickly assigning that. Matthews can go one. Thinking of him. Nylander second. And Reemsdyke, Kadri, and Marner, I guess. Yeah, flip Marner and Kadri. And goalies right now, we got Sparks up, backing up Enroth. Okay, I'm really bad at clicking these things. There we go.
Well, you're not alone.
I think it's yeah, I don't know it's his mouse or what. I've had this for a while. And the extra attackers, well, Matthews is probably going to be out, but just in case, and I will put somebody from the second line. Come on. Let's say Nylander for the other extra attackers. So regardless of which line is out there, we're going to get one of those two out. And that is it, I believe, for the 5-on-5 lines. I've had a couple of questions on the forum about this. The 4-on-4 and 3-on-3 lines, they will take the rolls directly from the 5-on-5 lines, since it's still even strength, and it's going to be using the same systems. So, for example, if I take let's say 4-on-4, I want Matthews. And do I want Van Riemsdyk 4-on-4? Yeah, I guess so. And the other two, Komarov, and find a center, Marner, Kadri. Go with Kadri. When you click on that, you see that you can't get the drop down. We probably should change that a little bit so it's a little clearer. But the rolls on these lines are derived direct from the 5-on-5 lines, so you can't, you don't get the option to change them on that screen. They are using, they are still using the same tactical role as they were assigned 5-on-5. But hopefully we can get that fixed so it shows you what the actual role is rather than looking like it's unselected. And I'm going to go with pretty much the same lines, or same defensive pairs. And the 3-on-3 for overtime. Definitely want Matthews on there. Keep Van Riemsdyk there. And I'm going to say Riley as the defenseman on the first one, and Gardner as the defenseman on the second. Oops. Nylander on the second unit forward. And I think Komarov's just going to be a lot of open ice, 3-on-3. He should be okay for that. Now,
Yeah, I like that.
On to special teams. And
Can we put out Matthews on every position?
Yeah. Using the umbrella, you see, you can get a description of the tactic here, but I will set that up, I think, fairly similar to the regular lines. Oops, how did I get... And for the right wing on that line, I'm going to I'll try to put Marner on the first power play unit. I am doing really poorly with the clicking here. And Bozak can go in the second one. With Komarov, and I'm gonna, I think, put Mikulek on the second unit. I'm gonna try Nylander on the point on the first one. Don't know how well that'll work. Give him the quarterback role back there. Gardner, I think, will be the first. Wait, will that work? No, I should do that the other way around. I should put Riley on that unit. And then Gardner, and I will use 2 defensemen on the second unit. So Trouba gets a little power play time there too. Gardner, yeah. And Trouba as a playmaker. I think I am mostly on him. I don't know if I want Mikulek as a power forward. Have him sitting in front of the net instead. Looks alright there. Gonna cheat a little bit here and just copy my first unit, or my 5-on-4 power play down to the 5-on-3 and use the identical lines and roles for that. Yeah, question in chat. If the goalie gets a match penalty, can the second goalie never be injured or out of the game? Yeah, we have to cheat with that a little bit. Technically, in real life, they'd be allowed to dress a third goalie, but that creates all kinds of roster problems in the game if we did it that way. So, more or less, when your first goalie is ejected or injured, the backup becomes invulnerable. Actually, I shouldn't say invulnerable because he can still get hurt, which will have a big effect on his ratings, but he won't be forced to leave the game. And finally, the 4-on-3 units. Matthews and Marner, we will try on the first one. And Nylander and Van Riemsdyk on the second. It's not like these are going to get used a whole lot. Gardner and Riley on the first pair. Trouba and Davidson on the second. Come on, Davidson.
No, I like that.
And I believe we have all them. Penalty killing units. Still one more to go.
So close.
I'm trying to remember how the Leafs penalty killers work. Let's see.
Put up 3 defensemen.
I think I'll pass on that idea.
Actually, this would be a time to use like our Martin type guy.
Yeah. Polak, I think first pair. Gardner with Gardner. I don't really like shuffling the defensemen around, the pairs around too much. Maybe I should even put Yamrinchin in the first. No, I'm gonna make those two my third pair is going to be the second group of penalty killers, but my first pair is going to be the same as even strength. Problem with if I were to switch around, like split up the pairs when they're killing penalties, once a penalty is over, that tends to mess with your lines for a while, because one guy will be in a pair will be coming off fatigued, and the other one will still be fresh, and so it generally works. So it's a little easier to organize if that's not happening.
Yeah. Pewog in the chat just asking, what's the hardship of having the 3 goalie situation? It's more the guy coming in, right? That just kind of...
Yeah, well, it's where that third guy is, because I suppose we could just create a random player, like the Canucks had the UBC goalie sitting on their bench the other week when Miller was hurt and they needed to back up. But as far as using a real goalie, is that the real goalie will almost inevitably be somebody if they've got a decent third goalie in their system, he's probably going to be on their farm team, so they're not going to be carrying 3 goalies almost always. Do I want Matthews? No, I don't want Matthews on the first penalty killing unit. That's not good.
Guido Creative in the chat asks, can you save tactical presets like...
Not right now, but we're trying to think of a way to do that, because it is kind of inconvenient when you're getting guys injured and going in and out to have to go back and be recreating them all the time. So, people have let us know they're not crazy about that aspect of it, so we will try to figure out something there and make that a little easier.
Yes, we're working on it.
Thinking about it more at this stage, but we'll get there.
Well, yeah. It's definitely something we're looking at. Is that a good way to say that?
That's a good way of saying that.
Yes.
And we are almost done here.
It's amazing because you don't think about how many times or how many different lineup combinations NHL coaches have to be ready for, huh?
Yep. And all the little things, like you get one guy out and that has a sort of a knock-on effect where it moves everybody else around. You gotta, just to cover for one guy, you wind up moving 3 or 4.
Well, yeah, this has been very noticeable in the NHL too. Like with, for instance, the Winnipeg Jets losing, 3 of their top 12 wingers.
Had to work the Jets in, didn't you?
Oh, always. Because, I really want to talk about Patrick Laine and how amazing this kid is playing. Not to mention, there's this guy named Mark Scheifele leading the league in points right now.
That's odd. Why is... Oh, that's Davidson. I was thinking Trouba was getting the punishing defenseman. No, he is. You have to take a look at that. That doesn't seem quite right. I'll make him a 2-way defenseman instead. The way the fits for the role, it's just the little dots you get up in the top right-hand corner. That's comparing certain requirements to the role to players' attributes. I'm wondering if I maybe got the wrong requirement set up for punishing defensemen, because that should be a big, hard-hitting guy, and Trouba isn't particularly a big hitter, is he?
No, he can hit pretty hard.
Maybe we've got... I shouldn't question Smetana's ratings then. He's got it. He's probably got him set up properly. Okay, I always thought of him as more of an offensive guy, though.
Well, he does both. Trouba, if you look, Trouba's got some big hits on his resume. Okay. And he'll just land a crushing blow on somebody when you're not expecting it.
And I believe we're done. And now you can see I've gone on to the opening screen and against the Senators. And the important thing here is that it's highlighting tactical roles that are particularly effective against the other team. In this case, Matthews gets a little bit of extra effective. He helps us out a little bit more because he's got the speedy forward role. And Hyman is set up as a grinder, and Trouba as the punishing defenseman on offense, which the way this works, you can see he's got the same role, tactical role, offensively and defensively, but the offensive role is being compared to their defensive tactic and vice versa. So the defensive role, him being the punishing defenseman there, isn't as effective at countering whatever Ottawa's offensive tactic is, but it is useful against their defensive tactic.
Okay, there's a question in the chat for you there, I think.
Okay, what do we got?
From Chris Ormy. He says, hey, anyone got a number for a top prospect? I like making numbers special and each year giving the starters and prospects certain numbers even when the players change. So I'm thinking you're talking jersey numbers, Chris? Would that be what you would assume, Jeff?
Yeah, I'd assume so. You could do the standard training camp thing and just give them the super high numbers in the 70s or the 80s.
Yeah, which is a very okay thing to do.
And one thing I should mention here, as we're watching the game, you can see on some of these, on the play-by-play messages, there's numbers in front of them. I've got the game set up in debugging mode right now, so it's giving me that extra information. Unless you've got trace mode turned on at the opening menu in the game, you won't actually see that when you're playing a regular game. It doesn't normally appear. Just a little extra help for us to figure out where the problems are. And we're down 1-0 already.
So Chris Army says, yeah, jersey numbers. For me, I historically don't mind taking top prospects from previous. So like using a number like, 88 or, 77, 66, 19 if it's not being used. Something that has historically been a number for a top player.
And I think one thing we would like to do at some point is get retired numbers into the game, so you could theoretically give a guy 99, but you really shouldn't be doing that. And down 1-0, but we're up 7-4 on shots. See, Ottawa's got the tactical advantage right now, but we've got a little bit of edge of momentum. We got one little problem with this game. When we updated the game, in the last update, we added the better starting abilities for the human GM. So if we'd started this game with the new patch, I would have a much higher tactical rating. But right now in this one, I don't, which means Ottawa is pretty much going to have the tactical advantage all game. Or that's the coaching advantage rather, which is what you can see here, the little crown with the logo beside it. Tactical advantage, which they also have at the moment, is separate, and I may try to do something about that in between periods. When I look at my strategy page, if we can get to the end of this without giving up yet another goal. Now we're getting outshot, Ottawa penalty. And I'm leaving game stoppages on here, so it's kind of going stop and start a little bit. And we're barely getting out of our own end on the power play. Not great. So 1-0 Ottawa at the end of the first period. We do have the shot advantage, and let's see what we can do here about getting a little bit more effective counters to Ottawa's strategy. So I'm going to take Martin out of the enforcer role. Nobody really does that anyhow. Make him a grinder. And looks like speedy forward has a minor effect on their defense. I know what I was doing, but I forgot to. Knew I was going to set up Bozak to be the shadow on the second line. Now he's got the shadow role, but what the shadow role will do it has an extra effect on the top player on the opposing line. So what I want is my second line ideally going up against their first line. Right now, You can see the line matching down at the bottom. Our first line is going to be matched against their third, our second against their second, etc., etc. I'm going to swap that so our second goes up against their first, and it is, I think, our first against their second, third against third, fourth against fourth, and I will leave the rest of that as it is, I believe. Actually, no, I'm going to change that so the top defensive line in our zone is going to be our second line instead of our third, but I will leave the rest. Not a whole lot of other good options there. Wondering if I can maybe get Nylander out. No, that's not. Something I definitely want to add to the tactics pop-up is an indication of which tactical rules are effective counters to the opposing tactic, like the red bar here and the yellow bar here. We should really get that on the pop-up screen, so you don't have to do guesswork by going through every single one, kind of like I've done right here. Kadri or Grinder, and let's see if that does anything tactical advantage-wise. Nope, looks like Ottawa held on to the advantage there, so I'm just going to let this period go. And you can see the one thing we did differently with the stats this year is you can see the game rating in the middle of, while you're watching the play-by-play. Nobody doing particularly good or bad at the moment for us, but we're not really getting that 5-goal first game out of Matthews.
Not unshocking.
Yeah, he's kind of cooled off a little bit now, hasn't he? That last I saw, he's, 11 points in his first 13 games or so?
Which is absolutely nothing wrong with that, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but when almost all of that is in the first game...
yeah.
How long before the papers in Toronto get on him?
Oh, I'm sure it's already started some.
I'll give him a little bit of time.
Yes.
Could be worse. Could be the Canucks. But hey, nobody beats us 10 times in a row.
Just 9.
Yeah. The formerly undefeated Vancouver Canucks. Didn't see that coming at all. And yeah, I mean, we're having a pretty good game. Gardner's doing pretty well defensively, although not having much of an offensive night. Komarov's kind of in rough shape. Yeah, and we're getting outshot badly at the end of the second. Now, do I take those rolls, switch those rolls back, or do I go all in and... Going to switch to a little more high risk in the third and high tempo, try to get that goal back. I'm just going to try a couple of different things to see if any of these I can get a counter to the offense. Actually, I shouldn't be worried about countering the offensive tactic. I should be worried more about the defensive one. The only thing that seems to be working Grinder, what are they doing on puck control? Trying to remember offhand what the counters are for that. And you can see, because we don't have the coaching advantage, we don't get told what the opposing roles are. So we don't get a little preview of that. I think I'm just going to have to go back to the game and hope for the best here.
P-Wog 66 in the chat. Has the NHL ever had a day-night doubleheader? 2 games in one day.
Not that don't think so. I don't think it's ever happened. It'd be pretty rough on the ice.
This might be a niche idea, but cricket is getting popular.
There is actually
just went black.
There is a cricket simulator game out there. I've seen it on Steam.
Well, someone was asking about if we'd make one.
There we go. I finally see myself. Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened there. The streaming software XSplit just seemed to lock up right in the middle of the Leafs game. So I think we're back now.
As you know, even they're questioning why we're playing as the Leafs.
Yeah. Wound up losing that 4-0. So not a successful season opener, and no 5-goal game, 5-goal debut for Austin Matthews in this. I'm going to continue on and may sim through the next one. At least nobody got hurt as far as I can see. Wicked cricket.
I cannot refresh the Twitch page. All right, here it comes.
I think we're okay. I hope we're okay, because I don't know what to do next if that one's broken. And let's see if maybe the Canucks can replicate that 5-0 start here. Not counting on it.
Canucks.
Yeah, we started, remember that like how many overtime games in a row at the start of the real season?
That is correct. Yes, I do recall that.
Before that, other stuff which we won't talk about.
Yeah.
All right, we had the late season opener this year. And we got the Bruins tonight. I don't have to change anything in the lineup, so I think I'm just going to sim that one, and maybe we can win that. That's a problem with Anderson being out at the start of the year, and we somehow pulled that out. We win. Leafs win in the shootout, 3-2.
That is impressive.
Wow, long shootout too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 shooters. One of them coming down to Van Riemsdyk and Chara. I want to see Chara in the shootout. That'd be interesting.
That would be very surprising, I think, is the correct word to use there.
So Nylander gets a couple of goals for it. Looks like our second line did most of the damage. Matthews still no points, and another not fantastic game out of him. So hopefully we don't have to worry anything there. And looks like we got Jay Gardner hurt. Moderate whiplash. So he's day-to-day, and when's our next game? At least we don't play tomorrow, so I think he may be back in time for the next one, I hope. If not, we're going to have to juggle the lineup a little bit. And yeah, the Canucks open. Yeah, they beat Calgary 3-0. I think that's what they did in real life, wasn't it? I think we got a shutout in the first game.
I believe it was, yes.
And
but it was against Calgary.
Yeah, Stamkos, minor injury, but and they win again. Yeah, 3-0 against Carolina in the second game, I think. They're remarkably accurate here. And now comes probably the 9-game losing streak starting shortly. No. Getting my scouting reports back. I've got scouting set to automatic, so it'll just send me a report back. Some of them are, looks like the European guys are looking at the younger players, ECHL, Sweden, KHL. Just sort of a general approach at this point, and there's a million scouts there, so I won't go down the whole list. What kind of schedule the Leafs got this year? They got 4 days off, and the next game is the 19th, 2 days from now, against the Jets, who just lost 4-2 to the Bruins team that we beat.
Well, that game did not go very well for them in real life.
What happened in that one? Oh, Canucks lost.
They just kept getting beat by, or the Jets came storming back to win that game.
Okay, we are up to the game against Winnipeg, and what's going on with Gardner? Nope, he's not going to be able to play, so we're going to have to shuffle the lineup a little bit, and Zaitsev will get his first NHL game. And I am going to kind of cheat a little bit here and put him on the first unit.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah. Mainly out of laziness, but Zaitsev. Yeah, I mean, I definitely see the argument people have for being able to save some of these rolls, so you're not having to do this every time you have to go back into the game, or every time you have to replace an injury.
Yeah.
And on the penalty killing, because yeah, this is taking way too much time. And it would help if I would just drag and drop like I should be doing. This mouse is a little bit wacky. Getting old. Okay, I think that is done. Yep, it's going to let me play. So I've got a few minutes. Let's watch this one play out.
All right.
And Jets with the coaching advantage again. So I'm going to turn off stoppages and just let it run while we're watching a game. And hopefully we can do a little bit better than the first one we watched. But penalty already 1 minute into the game.
All right. Well, let's ask this question then. How are you feeling about your Canucks this season so far?
I was feeling real good about them for the first 5 games. And now we're making a good run for the Nolan Patrick pick.
Who's been out hurt a huge amount this year?
And now we're 2 men down. Yeah, it's but yeah, I mean, it's not, the draft isn't as deep as last year's was, where we should have been picking much higher than we actually were, but apparently somebody got really lucky and wound up with the second overall when they didn't really deserve it.
Or did they deserve it the most out of everyone?
They didn't tank hard enough.
Exactly, they didn't tank.
And 1-0 or 1-1, 7 minutes left in the first. Nylander gets a goal for us, and the Jets' goal was Sean Matthias. And
Sean
2-1.
Matthias. All right, also out hurt right now in real life.
Yep. And I'm looking at the Jets lineup, and guess which name I don't see in it?
Patrick Laine?
Yeah.
Or Shifley?
It's weird you mentioned that. Neither one of them's there.
Well, this would explain a lot.
Yeah, it would explain why I'm up 2-1 in the second period. So I'm going to have to check that and see if they must be injured. So they can't, and no, we can't hold the lead because Enroth lets in an easy one. And I really need Anderson to get back, or else we're going to be looking at the Patrick pick with the Leafs here.
Well, that would be very nice for the Leafs.
Yeah, unless they're going to turn into the Oilers and get the perpetual #1 overall and never go anywhere with it.
Well, that also could happen.
Still hanging on to that 2-2 tie midway through the second.
Yes. So let me ask you this then. Yep. We talked about who do you think is the biggest surprise, or what team is the biggest surprise so far throughout the NHL season?
I mean, again, it was the Canucks for the first part. I mean, you could see it coming because they had that incredible luck. They were winning shootouts, winning in overtime, and you just knew it was going to crash, but you didn't think it was going to crash as badly as it would.
Well, let me ask you this then. How did you feel about that Kadri hit on Sedin?
On Sedin, oh yeah, they were. I mean, the Vancouver papers were not happy about it, but I mean, the league isn't going to do anything about it. And there was there whole column, the usual complaints about how the Sedins somehow deserve special treatment because they're the Sedins and they don't get it. I don't really buy into that. And 3-2 Leafs. We may actually win this one and go 2-1, 2-1. But nope, Enroth couldn't keep it out, and Jets tie it up. Uh, 3-3 with about 12 minutes left in the third. Chris Thorburn with 2 goals for the Jets.
Scorburn, you mean?
And he'll probably finish the season with somewhere around there. Oh, sorry, no, I missed Lena. He's on the. He is in the game. It's only Scheifele that's missing. I didn't have the screen scrolled down far enough. So less of an excuse for the Jets not to be beating us. And we're actually up by a couple of shots at the end, so are we going to be going into overtime here? 2 minutes left.
What about Scheifele?
Nope, he's definitely not. I'll check the roster after we finish this.
In all fairness, the Jets did win that game in overtime.
Don't jinx yourself here. We're 3 minutes left in overtime, no score yet.
I'm not jinxing, I'm just stating facts. Because that was a game that Matthews got in on a breakaway, got saved. They passed the puck to Lane, and he went down and scored.
Nope, overtime finishes, and nothing there. And we will quickly run through the shootout. And Leafs win the shootout.
That is surprising.
Now, let's take a quick look at how the shootout went. Ehlers, Matthews, Mitch Marner wins it at the end after 8 shots.
All right.
And where is Mark Scheifele?
Where has Scheifele gone?
Check on the injured list.
Where can he be?
Day to day with a sinus infection.
Well, that would knock you out, that is for sure.
And Blake Wheeler also out with strained triceps for a week or 2.
Pumping too much iron.
And the Leafs still know. Well, we got the one injury with Gardner out, but he's not going on the injury list. Well, we got a timeline for Lupul, 3 to 4 months, and Anderson still has another month or 2.
Not unsurprising.
So I think I'm just going to get this up to... Oh, we play Minnesota tomorrow, so I will sim that one, and I may finish up there for the night. Did we get Gardner back? No, not yet. He has got still 1 to 2 weeks left. You can see now that's one of the changes we made within the new version, that the injury status is a little less exact. It's not telling you the exact day that he's going to come back, just a rough time frame. And it's possible for it to sort of hang there at the last stage for a little while if the trainer keeps checking him and he isn't ready to move on to the final recovery stage yet. And 5-2 Wild, so not a successful sim game. I'm not even sure Matthews has scored yet, unless he got one in that. No, he didn't get one in the Jets game. Might have had one in the Bruins game, but I will check that in a second. I probably shouldn't hit continue, but we'll let that finish. There we go. And stats summary. Bozak leading us in scoring. Goal and 3 assists at the start. Matthews. Ouch, Matthews. 4 games, no goals, no assists, despite getting about 20 minutes of ice time a night. 40% on face-offs. So yeah, it's a good thing he didn't start that way in Toronto, or there'd be calls to send him down already.
Yeah, possibly. All right, anything else, or we good to wrap up?
Just going to take a quick look here. And no, I think we should probably, leave it off here. It's we're going to lose a little time because of that crash, but
Oh, it's okay.
other than that, next time out, got the Hawks and Tampa coming up. I think we'll Probably sim through a few of those and move it along a little bit faster. Uh, Maybe start looking for a trade, see if there's anybody still interesting free agent-wise out there. Oh, Lindholm still hasn't signed with Anaheim in this game, but other than that, there's not too much. As we do have a little bit of money to play with. But other than that, yeah, it's looking like it's maybe a long year for the Leafs. So, do you want to wrap it up there, Adam?
Sure. Thank you for once again tuning into another franchise stream. We stream every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/OOTP Developments. If you're watching this video now, you're probably watching it on our YouTube channel, which is where all of our videos are archived. If you're not and you're being redirected from somewhere else, our YouTube channel is youtube.com/franchise hockey. Or that is not correct at all. Let me restart that. Our YouTube is youtube.com/OOTP Developments, where you can find such videos as Franchise Hockey Manager, and along with the baseball streams as well. If you would like to reach out to us, you can do so by coming to our website, which is ootpdevelopments.com, and come click on the community button to find our forums. You can reach out to us on Twitter, which is @FranchiseHockey. You can find us on Facebook, which is facebook.com/franchise-hockey-manager. Or you can join our Steam. If you have the game on Steam, you can just post in the forums there. And we will be responding there as well.
Just as a matter of fact.
Yeah. I don't think I screwed anything else up. If I did, I'm sorry.
No, I think we got everything covered there.
Okay.
So we will be back again next week. I'm not sure if we're going to be going back to the Leafs again or if we'll be doing something different next week. But we will see you guys next Wednesday night. Thanks for coming out. And we will see you then. Hopefully with no crashes this time.